Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another edition of Fan Talk, your favorite podcast by your favorite fan. That is right. It is Wednesday, my dudes. Can you believe it? Can you believe it is now July? Whew. July 3rd is the date today. Beautiful weather outside. Quite cool for July weather. 84 degrees right now. Usually it's about upper 90s, if not 100. 84, that's going to be the forecast tomorrow as well for the 4th. Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to all those who celebrate. I am wearing my my John Wall Washington jersey to say, hey, I'm patriotic. Go USA. There you go. Washington, D.C., of course, the capital of the United States. It should be fun. Let me know what you guys are doing tomorrow. We're doing some fireworks tonight and then barbecue and more fireworks tomorrow. I think my family is going to a parade. However, I am working in the TV industry. You work holidays, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So I'll be broadcasting the television news while everyone's out getting lots of candy at the parades. But Fan Talk is a podcast by me, Kyle Brenchley. As you know, this is a podcast you can find on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast. I am there. So go check it out. All right. Let's jump into our Fan Talk Fast Talk. 3 quick stories to start off your day. Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, 2 rookie sensations in the WNBA, will head the NBA or the WNBA All-Star Game. Caitlin Clark had the most votes out of any player in the league, and that just shows that this league is bolstered by her appearance. If anybody tries to convince you that people were watching before or that people cared about the WNBA before Caitlin Clark, they are wrong. They're absolutely wrong. Caitlin Clark has changed the game. Angel Reese, another player that has changed the game. She got over 300,000 votes for the All-Star Game. Both of them will be on Team WNBA as the All-Star Game will be on July 20th. Team WNBA will face off against the women's national team. Again, July 20th. Should be quite interesting. And Team USA soccer. You see, I'm not wearing the jersey. I had to pull out a John Wall jersey. They crash out of the Copa America. Horrible loss to Panama. I talked about it on my last episode. And then they lose to Uruguay. They did not qualify for the next round, and they are out. Another first-round exit for Team USA, leaving them with more questions than answers, leaving them a little bit shocked, but we should not be totally shocked. Greg Berhalter might be on the way out. He probably is. Look for some changes to Team USA moving forward. And NBA free agency has started. A lot of big names, new faces, and new places. I think the biggest name so far is Klay Thompson. You know him, the Splash Bros. He is going to the Dallas Mavericks to team up with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. That bolsters the Mavericks' odds to reappear in the NBA Finals next season. We'll be talking more about NBA free agency here in just a minute. But there is your Fan Talk Fast Talk. 3 quick stories to start off your day. All right. Let's get all of our frustrations out. Let's this is a safe space. This is where fans can vent their frustrations. You know, we've all been there. Your team probably sucks. I did a video on that. Your team probably frustrates you. There's no team out there that has just been dominant always in the history of everything, everywhere, all at once. Great movie, by the way. But Team USA, high hopes heading into the Copa America. Everyone was saying that this team is good. They're at full strength. They're ready to rock and roll. They're going to do well. Alexi Lapis, former USA soccer player, now Fox analyst, had them in the final against Argentina and Messi. He had them in the final. Optimism was high. There was a lot of pressure. Media had their expectations. The whole country had their expectations. And Team USA, I think they genuinely thought that they were good. They genuinely thought, hey, we're going to go in there and we're going to take care of business. And it was kind of nice that they had Bolivia, their first game. Bolivia, a country that, frankly, I mean, they love soccer, but frankly, is just not up to par with other South American countries. For sure, the worst South American country at soccer. I don't know, maybe Suriname's up there, but they're definitely up there for sure at the worst. And to shut them out, put them away 2-0, probably should have been 5-0, honestly. Team USA was like, hey, we got this. We got this. And then they just lost focus. I talked about this in the last episode about Panama, how that total, absolute collapse, one of the worst losses in Team USA recent history, up there with the Trinidad and Tobago loss. They just lost focus. They obviously had that red card by Tim Weah, and that set things ablaze. And then from there, they just didn't have a good game plan. They just didn't execute, and they fell apart. And it's just too much to ask to beat a very good Uruguay team when you should have beaten that Panama team. It's too hard to ask, They gave it their all, but at the end of the day, you only score 3 goals in 3 games. That's pitiful, and it's reminiscent of the World Cup when they barely scraped by. They barely beat Iran, and they barely got in, and then got boat raced by the Netherlands. So Team USA will have to shake this off. Whatever happens, happens. Their future is out of our control now as fans, but whatever happens, happens. Their focus now is on the World Cup 2026 that will be held here on North American soil. So they better show up as one of the host nations. Games will be played in Canada, US, and Mexico. They better show up. There's nothing worse than a host nation getting booted out in the first round. I mean, South Africa did it a couple years ago. Russia did it a couple years ago. But this is the USA, and they think that they are better, and they are better, and they need to be better. So that's all I'll say about that. I'm sorry for all you out there who were greatly disappointed. I was as well. On to 2026. The future is still bright. Let's make some changes. Let's go get it. Okay, let's talk NBA now. NBA offseason. Sometimes the offseason can be a little quiet. This offseason has gotten off to a very loud start with the free agency. Obviously, the draft happened a little while ago, a couple weeks ago, and now free agency has started. So there is a lot of things going on here. Let me just maybe share some of the notable ones. Obviously, Klay Thompson to the Dallas Mavericks. Wow. Now, let's just pause here for a second because I personally feel every single time a superstar teams up with other superstars, the initial reaction is NBA Finals bound. Watch out, league. Here they come. But let me remind you, do you remember the 21st night of December? No, I'm just kidding. Great song, though. Do you remember when, and I did an episode about this a couple weeks ago, and I said this was probably the biggest failed super team of all time. That could change now, but we'll see. We saw Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and James Harden play on a team together they barely played together. I'll be honest with that when I say that they barely played together. One was always injured or whatever. But those 3 got together and they're like, watch out. The Nets are the next dynasty. They didn't even win a championship. Excuse me. And now all those players are in different places. So let's just pump the brakes a little bit. But let's just look at it for what it is. Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, and Klay Thompson. Essentially, Klay Thompson, he replaces, let's see, they lost Tim Hardaway, they lost Josh Green. They still have PJ Washington. So I think essentially it's going to be Luka Doncic, Kyrie Irving, Klay Thompson, PJ Washington Jr., and Derek Lively III. That's gonna be the lineup, and that's pretty solid. They're all well. Clay's the veteran, but the rest of them are pretty young, fairly young. They could honestly make some noise, but we'll see. We'll see what happens there. And then obviously the other big name, I got to give my respect to everyone. Paul George signing with the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, Paul George, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey. That's a pretty solid big three. Just keep in mind, though, the Celtics are still strong as ever. The Knicks are loading up. It's going to be a bloodbath in the East. The last few years, it's kind of been like, the East, there's, maybe the Celtics and another team in the Bucks and everyone else. Now it's going to be a bloodbath in the East. Yeah, you can't think about the Milwaukee Bucks. They'll be back. You can't forget about the Indiana Pacers. They'll be back. You got teams like, let's see, who even else was in the East? Maybe it's just a 4-race team now. My mind's gone blank, But it's definitely something to keep an eye on. And then, of course, James Harden's staying with the LA Clippers. So it's going to be the Harden and Kawhi Leonard show now that Paul George is out of the building. Very interesting what will be going on there. Other teams that are making big splashes. The Orlando Magic. Hey, there's another team in the East. They're making some splashes in adding Jonathan Lucas, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, keeping Mo Wagner. Young team, keeping the future bright as always. And then Minnesota Timberwolves. Now, and I'm sorry if I'm kind of just speeding through this, but you got places to be, and so do I. The Minnesota Timberwolves should rebrand to be the Minnesota Jazz. Joe Ingles has now signed with the Minnesota Timberwolves, so they got Mike Conley, they got Rudy Gobert, they got Joe Ingles. They got pretty much that really good Jazz team from a couple years ago that was the number 1 seed that unfortunately didn't make it to the NBA Finals. They're all on the Minnesota Timberwolves now, so that's kind of funny. They also added PJ Dozier. So the T-Wolves, they might be back. Other notable things, let's see here. LeBron James staying with the Lakers. I think we all kind of knew that was going to happen. Kemba Walker announced his retirement. He is now going to be some sort of coaching role for the Charlotte Hornets. Donovan Mitchell signing a 3-year, $150 million extension. Whew. Giddy up. Guess he's not going to New York, is he? Obviously, there's just a lot of things you can look up here. A lot of things have been happening. Jazz-wise, nothing really. Drew Eubanks has signed. Whoop-de-doo. A lot of noise saying that Lauri Markkanen's probably going to get traded. I don't know if I believe that, but it's just talk right now. So we'll see. We will see. But let me know what you guys think. Did your team sign anyone good in NBA free agency? It's still going on, so it's not totally over yet. But let me know what you guys thought. Chris Paul, that guy's still in the league. He signed with the San Antonio Spurs. One year, $11 million, teaming up with Victor Wembanyama. We'll see how that goes, if that lasts very long. But we'll see. We will see. I think that's pretty much it, honestly. More stuff will come down the pipe. Zach LaVine, the Bulls are trying to offload Zach LaVine, but haven't been able to. I don't think any team really wants him. It's interesting to see where Lauri Markkanen goes. We'll just have to see. We will have to see. Oh, yeah, Mikal Bridges went to the New York Knicks. So that team is loaded. Loaded. But, let me know what you guys think about your team. Did they pick up some good players and whatnot? Before we sign off, though, I just want to look at the Euro 2024. Group stages have ended. The round of 16 is now ended, and we are now in the quarterfinals. So here are the matchups for the quarterfinals. Spain versus Germany. Now, that's going to be an awesome game. Now, the bracket here was kind of lopsided. Spain, Germany, France, Belgium, Portugal, all on the same side. The other side had Romania, the Netherlands, Austria, England, Switzerland, Italy. Like, the other side was very lopsided, is what I'm trying to say here. So, Spain versus Germany in the quarterfinals. Unfortunately, one of them is going to have to go. Portugal versus France in the quarterfinals. Those are four great teams right there, and only one of them is going to get through to the final, which is unfortunate, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles here. So yeah, Spain, Germany, Portugal, France, Netherlands, and Turkey. I'm rooting for Turkey, and then England, Switzerland. So, kind of what I'm thinking here. I'm thinking Spain beats Germany. I'm thinking I'm going to pick an upset here. I'm going to go Portugal over France. I'm going to go the Netherlands over Turkey, and I'm going to go Switzerland over England. I think it's probably going to be the Netherlands and Spain in the final. Is kind of what it's looking like, unless Germany can upset Spain or something like that. But those games happening this weekend, Friday and Saturday. So go watch some soccer. Copa America. Obviously, I mentioned that the USA crashed out of the quarterfinals, but Canada got through. Some of you may or may not know I lived in Canada for 2 years, so I'm rooting for them. They're not very good. They got a tough matchup against Venezuela, Uruguay, Brazil. That's going to be a bloodbath. And then Colombia, Panama, Ecuador, Argentina. So a lot of great soccer still ahead. So go watch some soccer. Go have some fun out there on the 4th tomorrow. Have fun at the parade. Have fun at the barbecue. Be safe with fireworks. Don't blow your hand off. Don't start a forest fire. And God bless the USA. What a great country we live in. Thanks you guys so much for listening to Fan Talk. This is a podcast by me, Kyle Brenchley, that you can find on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, wherever you get your podcast. Happy 4th, everyone. We'll see you next week for another edition of Fan Talk.